My shoulder's still giving me jip, surprise, surprise. These take a while to sort themselves out. I've found some exercises which seem to be helping. So the last few nights I have had a much better night's sleep. I haven't been getting so much or any of the pain, and I'm still like numb in the two fingers here. But I've not been getting the horrible burning sensation across my hand. So I think that nerve is sorting itself out. So one of the things that I've been doing is something called nerve flossing. So what happens is that your nerves in your body run through little channels, and they run up and down the channel. So every time you do something like this, your nerve endings are running up and down the channels and doing their job. And what happens if you get a compressed nerve or a pinched nerve is that channel gets compressed and the nerve can't run as it's supposed to. And that's why you get things like your fingers feel numb and things like that, because it's not doing its job properly. So I was looking at some exercise I could do to help to loosen that up. And in fact, some videos ago I did a whole thing about the yoga exercises I had found, and some of these exercises are actually part of it. So if I do stretching exercises, I can feel the tension in my shoulders and my neck, and when I do certain exercises I can literally hear the muscles and the nerves, everything is just crunching, and it sounds dreadful. And it's just so stiff. I don't use my upper body very much. It's not a part of what I do, so I'm not doing lots of like stretching and all that sort of thing. So everything has seized up in the top half, and that's probably why this has happened as well. So the nerve that is causing the problem here runs all the way up here, up into the shoulder, and then joins the spinal cord, the spinal column, and somewhere around the back of your neck. So you can, I'm just going to show you how I do this. So the main one that I've been doing is you put your arm out like this, you pull your wrist up, and then you tilt your head in the opposite direction. Now, as I do this, I can feel it pulling at the bottom of my shoulder blade, and that's where everything is pulling through. And then you just use your hand just to very gently stretch your neck out. And when I do this, I can feel behind my ear it's pulling there as well, where the tendons are. Everything is locked up. So you can do that, and then I'll just do some reps of that. Now, most of the pain that I get is in the evening. During the day I'm moving around and doing stuff, and it's keeping everything kind of moving. In the evening I sit down, I slump down on the sofa, and that's when it kicks off. And that, a lot of that is to do with your body posture. So you need to have a really good straight back. Don't slouch, it's really bad for your body posture. So the other thing you can do for your hand is you bend at the elbow there, you have your hand like that, and you just push gently and you push back. Don't hurt yourself. That I have found really useful. And you can also do it with your arm outstretched. So I've been doing it like this. And it's just pulling all the nerves and the tendons that run through your wrist. And if you get something called carpal tunnel syndrome, which my mum had, it's where those little channels get furred up and things stop working. And what you'll notice is that your hand starts to do this. Your fingers will curl and you can't stretch your fingers out. So my mum had the operation, and they basically, it was like in and out. It was no problem. And they clean out the channels that all your nerves and your tendons are running up, defur it, and you get your hands back. And this, I think all this is connected to why I've got this weird lump in my palm as well. Right near where that, it's right there. I've got like a lump which has come up at the same time I started to have this. So I think it's all connected. So you can do that. You do that on both. I do it on both sides because I need to sort out both shoulders really. Everything is so tight. And the other thing that I found really good to do, so when I'm sitting, have a really good posture. and just stretching out your spine. Now be careful when you do this. Don't injure yourself. Don't force it. If it hurts, stop or don't go as far. But you'll find over time, the more you do it, it'll start to loosen things up. So what I like to do, and this feels really good, is just tilt my head back, and I can feel that pulling in my neck, and pull my shoulders right back and arch my back inwards a little bit, and just pull everything. And you can feel everything moving, and then just go in the opposite direction and just pull like that. And I find that releases tension that builds up in the evening when I am just sat around on the sofa. And I tend to find I'm not sitting around as much in the evening because this really starts to kick off. So if I'm doing all those exercises, and then by the time I go to bed, I'm finding it's calmed down and it's not waking me up during the night. I've had a few good nights sleep, which is brilliant because I've had some really, really bad night's sleep over the last couple of weeks where this has just kept me awake for ages. Originally, I was thinking that I needed to sleep at an angle, like upwards on a couple of pillows, and I was putting a hot water bottle behind the shoulder. But what I really need to do is stretch everything out. You need to exercise it out. It's like sciatica. The worst thing you can do when you've got sciatica is stop moving. You need to move because you've got to get that nerve to release, and sitting still does nothing for it. So things like this. So my shoulders are just, everything is really stiff, and so in the evening, over the course of a couple of hours or so, and I will also do just shoulder rolling as well. This is quite a nice one, and I can hear that and feel that pulling right across my shoulder blade, and you can do it the other way as well. And then the other one I do is just circles with your head. This one I can feel everything catching and pulling and crunching. So I think everything in my neck down to here and all the way around the back is just an absolute mess, and I need to keep doing these exercises regularly every day just to pull everything out, and just do it gently. I read that the compressed nerve, pinched nerve in the shoulder, doing the exercises, it can take 6 to 8 weeks for it to sort it out, because there's no quick fix for things like trapped nerves and stuff like that. So that's what I've been doing, and it's definitely working for me. But you need to take your time with it, and you need to stick to it as well. You can't just go, I'm not going to bother to do it today. I won't bother doing it this week, I'll do it next week, because everything just seizes up again. This is the problem. So you've got to be committed to it. And this is why I need to get a good daily, simple yoga workout. And I found those 2 sets of exercises on YouTube, which I've linked to before. And the other one that's really good is the one, so there's the top half one, which I've talked about, and then there's a bottom half one, which is really good for just stretching out all the ligaments and the nerves in your legs, and really good for your hips. If your hips get stiff, if I sit around too much, particularly on the sofa, my hips can get quite stiff, which is why I do a lot of working standing up and using my treadmill, because it keeps everything loose. But there's a certain exercise in there that every time I do it, it's like, oh my God, that feels so good. And it just stretches everything out. So go and find those links. If you need them, let me know, and I'll put them in the show notes. Your maintenance as you get older, you don't think about these things when you're young. You might exercise for fun, you might go to a gym regularly, but when you get older, it becomes really important basic maintenance just to move around every day. And it's worth it, because I don't want to be as stiff as this in 20 years' time and struggling to get up out of a chair, because we don't want any of that. It is Sunday morning, and I did something that I haven't done for a while, which is go to Morrison's. I happened to be going over to do the cleaning job anyway, and I got there literally 10 minutes before Morrison's are due to open. I thought, I might as well go over there. I did get a few things, nothing particularly dramatic. What did I spend? Today I spent £2.88, but I bought something that's for crafting, which was £1.50. I actually found some napkins that were a bit different, so they'll come out of a different budget. So what did I get? Not very much. Pack of white pitters. These were 50p down to 40p. They'll be good in the freezer because I don't have any bread type things in at the moment. I also got this tin of butter beans. These were 65p down to 49p because they have a whopping great dent in them. And the same with this tin, which is tomatoes. I think it's chopped or plum tomatoes, I'm not sure. These were 65p down to 49p. So those will go into the cupboard for a rainy day because I've been trying to use some of my older tins up. And I will put up there, as usual, what I would have spent if I bought that full price and how much I've saved. It's not a massive saving, but every little bit helps when these are things that I can roll on to a different month. They won't affect this month's budget anyway. I was complaining last month about how Christmas comes so early in the supermarkets. And then today I saw this. They're already talking about summer next year. For goodness sakes, what's the matter with these people? Honestly. Oh dear. I'm still getting used to the fact that summer has gone. I'm still coming to terms with it. So anyway, so that's that. That's Sunday morning. And I think this afternoon I'm going to carve up that pumpkin. I've been putting it off and putting it off. It's a messy, big job, but it needs to be done. What can I say? So I'm probably going to get on with that, and if I do, I will show you how I do that. It's quite a simple process. It's just long and messy. But now it's 20 to 12, so I'm going to get on with lunch, and probably see you back here in the afternoon to sort out pumpkins. morning. It is wet and windy, but I think it's warmer outside than in today. It's not particularly cold out. It's got that weird, slightly warm edge to it. Anyway, so I am off to Sainsbury. The couple that I clean for have asked me to get me some things, and I need a few bits for me anyway. So that's 2 birds, 1 stone. One job I didn't do at the weekend, which I should have done. This needs a cut, so I'm going to try and do that this afternoon, if I can muster up the enthusiasm for it. Pretty much it for Monday. There's not a lot else going on. I've got a few crafting things that I'm just finishing to add to my website, and then tomorrow I'm going to try and do some slightly more festive photography of some of the things that I sell, which I hope will inspire a few people to say, oh yeah, that'd be a good present for Christmas. So I'm going to put out all the jewellery things that I make, and do those in a slightly more festive way. And they're just really, I mean, they can go up on the website, but also I'm going to put them onto Instagram. Instagram isn't somewhere that I post to a lot, because you don't get traffic on Instagram if you're, you know, unless you're some massive brand. But I found a way of doing bulk, adding posts in bulk to Instagram, preloading them, so that, you know, if I can get together 5 or 6 images or 5 or 6 reels, then, you know, I don't have to worry about Instagram for 2 weeks or something. And you can do repetitive ones as well, because nobody looks at people's home pages. They look at, they just see what comes up in their feed. So if I just keep posting repetitious festive type posts and images, you know, people are going to see it. Hopefully. They won't, but it doesn't take me long to get it done, so it's not a big waste of time. So I'm going to do that tomorrow, and hopefully that'll get me up to speed. I've loaded enough posts on Instagram to get me through until next year, but I want to add some new ones. So here I am at Sainsbury. Take our usual space. Let's get in and do a little bit of shopping. I bought a few bits for myself while I was in Sainsbury that I could buy on Nectar Points. It came to £5.42, so I paid 42p for the shop. I just got some muesli. What else did I get? I got a Savoy cabbage, a couple of other bits. Nothing very dramatic. And I was looking for things to top it up to the £5, so I was going around the veg aisle looking for things, and they had, I like courgettes, and they had loose courgettes. They had 3 packs, like packs of 3 courgettes, which were £1.45, and they weren't particularly big courgettes, but there were 3 of them. And then they had loose ones, and the loose courgettes were bigger, but it's still just a courgette. So I thought, well, that's probably going to work out cheaper, isn't it? So I went to weigh up, because you have to weigh up your loose veg now, and I put it on the scale, and 1 courgette was £1.11. You must be joking me. I'm not paying £1.11 for 1 courgette. And the single large courgette wasn't as big as the 3 courgettes for £1.45, so I got a pack of parsnips instead, which were like 74p. Honestly, prices of stuff is just ridiculous now. Broccolis in Sainsbury now are £1.9, I think it is, for a loose broccoli. Absolutely crazy. Although things like a bag of carrots is still like 69p or something, but some stuff has just gone mad. I need to have a look at how much my shopping costs have changed over the last few years. I'll add it here somewhere when I find it. I was looking at it the other day actually, and looking at the overall totals that I've been spending, because obviously that's discounted and nectar points and stuff and freebies from apps, but it has changed wildly, taking all those things into account. So I'll put that up there and you can see that. I was a bit lazy yesterday and I didn't do my shoulder exercises in the evening, and I got woken up in the middle of the night and my hand tingling and it felt like it was burning. So it's a weird burning sensation you get with this, and so I had to get up and do the exercises and eventually it stopped. That serves me right for not doing my exercises. I was a bit lazy yesterday with things, so I must remember to always do that every evening without fail until this sorts itself out. Right, so here we are. Let's get on with this cleaning job and then we can go home again. As you can see in that window, there's a dog staring at me. I've parked in his owner's parking space and he's glaring at me. Sorry mate, nicked your space. Tuesday has been very productive. Look, fringe cut. I need to sort this out. Look at it. What else have I been doing? I have made a second batch of pumpkin jam because I had that second pumpkin, and I've made 3 more jars, 3 bigger jars. So I've got enough to last me like a year's worth of jam now. There's so much of it, but it tastes so good. And I've also used some of it in a cake that I made today. So I did my usual basic cake recipe, and if you mix the jam into the recipe before you put it into the cake tin, you get a lovely jammy middle to your cake. So some of it's gone in there. I've also made bread, and so those 2 things are in the oven. I haven't put them on yet, it's going to wait until later. And then I'm going to stick a pizza in the oven as well, and then I will make the most of using electricity, because you can't just put one thing in an oven anymore. You really can't. I also finished a couple of listings for my shop, and I have finally started doing the seasonal gifting pictures. I'll put a couple up here. I've just started doing that this afternoon. It is so dark today. We don't put lights on unless we need to. I'm used to it. But look how dark it is. No lights. It looks like the heavens are about to open big time, and it's a little bit chilly, so dressing gown is on, but we have windows that have light, so I'm ploughing through the afternoon. Sorry, I'm ploughing through the afternoon. It's about 2:15, so I've got loads of time left for the rest of the day, and I'm just enjoying a bit of trawling through YouTube, just watching mindlessly. in the same way that I sometimes do with Instagram. I love all the random stuff that turns up on YouTube. There are lots of people out there leading very interesting, very productive, very different, and very weird lives, and I love looking at all that. I really do. There's a whole world out there, even if you're only in a bit of it, so it's nice to see what else goes on out there. Anyway, so that's it. That's Tuesday, and I'm glad that I'm not outside because it's cold and wet and I can't be bothered. So I'm going to get on. There's my little setup. This is the setup for doing jewellery photography, which is what I'm doing this afternoon. And, you know, you only need a tiny little space and a few things to do it, like a camera. A mobile phone will do the job. Anyway, so that's me rambling. That's Tuesday. Tuesday is good. Tuesday has been very busy, very productive, and that's it. So, see you tomorrow. It's 2 o'clock. It's Thursday afternoon, and I have just submitted my self-assessment for the 2024 to 2025 tax year. I've done it. Finally done it. Didn't even take that long. I started about 10 o'clock this morning, and with a few breaks and things, so I had lunch in between. It's probably taken me about 4 hours in total. Yeah, maybe not even that. I maintain my spreadsheets throughout the year so that everything is already uploaded, and then all I do is I go in and just double check that all the formulas are correct and I haven't missed anything and that everything's adding up the way it's supposed to be, and then I can just put the numbers straight in. I do a basic self-assessment. It's not like really detailed. I submit overall sums, so overall income per business. So I have 3 sections. So one is my craft business, the other one is the book that I sell, and the other one is all the other side hustles, and everything gets lumped into one thing. And then all the only expenses that I really submit for is the business, because that's the only one that really has any, and I just do it as a single sum. So it's all like lump summed in, which includes mileage for driving. And yeah, so that's that done, all submitted as usual. And that's it. We're done. Feels really good to get that out of the way, I tell you. Good stuff. And that means that tomorrow is now, the rest of the day is now all mine, because that's all my jobs done for this week that I needed to get done. And I don't know what to do tomorrow now. I'm sure I can find something. There's never a day where I'm not doing stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to, in fact, this afternoon I shall be finishing up this video and editing and uploading and putting this up so you can see it. That's pretty good. That's it, really. Been a good week. I've ticked off a load of extra stuff that I needed to get done. In case nobody's seen or nobody's read or whatever, somebody asked if there was any way that I could add gift wrapping to my Shopify store for my business, and I did reply in the message today as a follow-up, but just in case anyone else wants to know and may not see that message again, because it's really hard to find comments on YouTube, I have now done that. So if you want to, like, if you want to buy something as a gift for somebody on my shop, but instead of it going to you and then you having to wrap it and then post it on again, you can select the gift wrap option and I will wrap it for you. And if you have a personalised message, I will add that as well. And then I can send it direct to your recipient. Don't forget, I can only ship within the UK because of all the restrictions that we now have, trying to send to anywhere in the European Union. In the EU, can't do that. And to the US, can't do that because of all the tariffs. And so if you're just sending it in the UK and you just want it sent direct to somebody, yes, I can do that now. That is now an option. And when you go, so you add stuff to your basket. When you go to your basket, you'll see towards the bottom there is a tick the box for the gift message, the gift wrap option, and then you can add the details that you want to include. And if you're not sure about anything, just drop me a message over on the Shopify store on the contact page and I will help you through it all. It's fine. So that's great. That's another little addition that I can now offer, and hopefully that'll help a few people out who don't want to then have to pay double postage for gifts that would be sent on anyway, because that's going to halve your postage for Christmas gifts or birthday gifts or whatever it is really. So I hope that's helpful. I didn't even know I could do that. I had to add an app externally from the Shopify app store and import it in. It's not something that comes as part of standard as the store. So I had a little hunt around and I found one that was going to do what I wanted it to do. So hopefully that will solve all your little problems for you. Thank you for watching. It's another week. It's kind of another week over. I've still got tomorrow, but I'm getting behind on videos and I'm trying to keep them a little bit shorter because it's easier for people to catch up on. And I think this one will probably work out at about 30-40 minutes, which is quite reasonable enough. And that's it. I'm really tired today. I thought I slept quite well last night, but I am really, really tired today. Just made myself yawn by saying that. That's terrible. Anyway, so I'm going to have a bit more of a chilled afternoon, just do some editing, and that's it. So I hope you have a good week, good rest of your week. Good week has already gone, and yeah, speak to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.